God has fewer admirers among Christians today. Boy, ain't that the truth. Sometimes, you know, I don't know about you, but I'm in the refrigerator, by the way, so hold on a minute. You know, I don't know about you, but I'm beginning to find that most Christians that I know don't want God to be involved in their life. He doesn't want, the Christian that is, the man or woman, really doesn't want the personal idea of Jesus walking in and saying, okay, Michael, when's the last time you vacuumed the carpet? Michael, come here. This is Jesus speaking now, remember. When's the last time you dusted the lamps? Michael, when's the last time you took the stuff off the leaves, you know? Kind of like wiped them with mayonnaise or something. Huh? In other words, there are lots of things that people don't like to admit God into. They'd rather have God distant from them and be sheep and sometimes cheered than to actually have God near. I never had that luxury. Oh, I know. Maybe I do now. I mean, maybe I can keep God distant sometimes, and I have gone backslidden and astray at times, you know, just like anybody else. That don't last long. Not for me, it don't. Because you see, my health is dependent upon, a lot of times, my relationship with the Lord. I mean, it's not directly connected, but when I come out from under His protection, man, my health goes, you know, and I start getting my migraines back, I get my Crohn's back, everything starts going in, I start losing weight, I start getting sickly, I start, you know, like dying. It's a real bummer, you know, but in God's presence, as I'm closer to God, as I draw near to Him every day, and all my life have been going, you know, basically uphill, like a jagged mountain, you know, but gone up higher. The closer I get to Him, the more that, you know, my health has actually, I've become healthy, I'm buff, you know, I'm tough, I'm rough. No, I'm just full of grace, you know, and that's my place where I'm at, you know, but in Tozer, is that what we're reading? Tozer. God has few admirers among Christians today. He that dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in him. Man, that sounds like a practical way to get to God if you really want to get there. You know, kind of like a non-John Lennon way. He that dwelleth in love dwells in God. So if you could stay loving, you could stay in God. Think about it. To love God because He has been good to us is one of the most reasonable things possible. But the quality of our worship is stepped up as we move away from the thought of what God has done for us and near the thought of the excellence of His holy nature. His holy nature is love. This leads us to admiration. Man, God can love people like that? Like my landlord? I already know He loves them because he's a Christian. But anyways, you mean like all my neighbors, all my friends? You mean like the world? Like everybody in the world? Like the terrorists? Like the president? Like you name it? Like Republicans? Like Democrats? Like independents? Like, what do they call those guys? Not totalitarians. Not Unitarians. Not Aryans. Boy, we're just all over the Aryans. But oh well, doesn't matter. They're one of them. But God loves them all. The dictionary says that to admire is to regard with wondering esteem accompanied by pleasure and delight, to look at or upon with an everlasting feeling of pleasure. According to this definition, that's Pepsi. I admit it. A bottle of Pepsi is a wondrous thing. Gives me strength and lots of spring. Tastes so good, feels always strong. Costs so little, yet lasts so long. I'm sure that if you taste this drink, you sit back and really think what this drink was meant to be. Pepsi Cola for you and me. Yes, I wrote that way back when. It's a Pepsi generation coming at you, going strong. Woo! Speaking of strong, we got to hurry up and get cleaned up. Oy. The simple truth is that worship is elementary until it begins to take on the quality of admiration. Just as long as the worshiper is engrossed with himself and his good fortune, he's a babe in Christ. We begin to grow up when our worship passes from thanksgiving to admiration. As our hearts rise to God in lofty esteem for that which He is, we begin to share a little of the selfless pleasure which is a portion of the blessedness in heaven. You see, it's not always about what we feel, because we can all get worked up by putting on our little iPhones and our earbuds and, crank up the right music and leave off the wrong music, and that way we gotta fill ourselves up with hot air, or fill our brains up with hot worship, and when it comes dissipating down, it seems to be a crash and burn, and the people got to keep putting on music in order to get to God, because they're worshiping the music more than they're worshiping God. But at first, it doesn't seem like that, until it gets to the point where you have to have the worship to get to God. Be careful. God has few admirers. So do you admire God? Or are you mired in the program that you need to get to God? Because God is always with you. And the amazing thing is, He loves you and me.